Good morning, everybody. It's me, Shad, Polynerdic, here with another OrNERDnary vlog. Um, First one in a week. I think, in fact, we did the last one almost exactly a week ago. So that's the shortest gap we've had on these in a long time. Um, Proud of myself for that, as you can tell. I'm in my happy place today. I feel great. Um, I don't have my kids right now. They'll be here later. When my 18-year-old comes home. So I'm going to play some video games this morning. I'm going to probably watch one more movie, and I'm going to work on some D&D stuff. I've got this really nice. I can't show you. I've got this really nice magnifying glass with a light on it, which I think will help me with the finer details of miniature painting. Um, so that's my plans for today. I hope you out there, all you nerdy dads uh, that are possibly watching this, the three or four of you that sometimes watch me, I hope you're having a good Father's Day. Or if you're seeing this after the fact, I hope you had a great Father's Day. I have spent this weekend basically just chilling. My week was pretty good. I got through the week without any major snafus. Friday was a little rough um, in the terms of like productivity, and I hate how modern living and capitalism and all that mess has like wired my brain to did I have a good week? Did I do enough at work? How that becomes my default setting. Like I judge how the week was based on how poorly or not I did at work and how much that stress affects me. And that's a really fucking terrible aspect of our lives. Um, but I had a good week, and my 18-year-old went up to their mother's on Thursday night, and so I've just kind of been on my own since then, and I've watched a shitload of movies in the last 2 days. I watched Shin Godzilla from almost 10 years ago. Um, I liked it. I had seen the first 30 minutes of it before, and didn't realize it until I was watching it. It's a traditional Godzilla movie, except for I honestly don't think it's at any point a guy in a suit, which is always kind of sad. Um, and it had some really interesting takes on Godzilla. What with the various mutations of him throughout the movie, and then what they hint at the very end, with that shot of his tail. But they and I had this problem also with the other one, Godzilla minus oh fuck, what was it called? I just watched it last night and my brain's already forgotten the title of it. Godzilla minus one. It's the newest of the Toho Japanese Godzillas films, and I think Toho's the one that's making them. I hope I'm right on that. I hope I'm wrong. I wasn't planning on really going too far into this, but now my brain has said we have to talk about this. Yeah, distributed by Toho. Um, Came out in 2023. It takes the story back to post World War II, and again, I had the same problem with both of them. Is that I don't know if it's my big dumb loud American brain or my inner child that wants this, but like I am happiest when um, Godzilla movies are Godzilla fighting other big monsters. That's like my favorite thing. Kaiju fights are the best, despite the massive amounts of property damage that come from them. I have always enjoyed a good kaiju fight in my monster movies. That's why Pacific Rim is so good. Uh, I also watched Godzilla versus Kong. So I had a Godzilla weekend. Godzilla versus Kong was really good because it gave me that kaiju fight several times over, and I loved it. But my thinking with it, as I was sitting on my couch watching it yesterday, day before, no, it was yesterday, um, is that they really didn't want you to think about anything. There were a number of moments where it was like okay, cool, that resolved the issue, but your plan to move forward will just create the issue again, right? And then it doesn't. Namely, I'm talking about when they're transporting Kong. You've seen it in the trailers if you've seen the trailers of where they're moving Kong on a boat, and that attracts Godzilla because there's this ingrained bit of the mythos that there can only be one Alpha Titan, and so like by moving Kong outside of Skull Island, the Titans have some sort of I don't know preternatural detection ability of like, oh, there's another one, I gotta go find it and fight it. Silly, but okay, it works within the mythos of the world they're building. But they have their big badass on top of the boat fight that was shown in the trailers, and then spoilers though that it's a couple years old, so I'm gonna talk about it. They resolved that fight by basically Kong playing dead and the Navy shutting off all the boats so it looks like they're dead in the water. And then that somehow they make that educated guess that Godzilla's going to be like, cool, I won. And he does. He leaves. But one of the characters says, okay, so how do we keep going? Because the moment we start up again, Godzilla's going to know. And they devise using, I think they were ospreys, with a big net to transport Kong. And immediately when I'm watching it, I was like, wouldn't Godzilla know? Like, because you didn't establish that it's just like you're moving him through the water that sets him off. You've established that the I need new glasses. These ones are getting crooked as fuck. You've established that Godzilla knows when the other Alpha Titan is moving. Why would it matter above the water, in the water? Anyway, it was a really fun movie. They did a pretty good job with this one of making it about the monsters and less the people. But the people were still involved, because that was always my sticking point with the 2014 Godzilla and King of the Monsters, and to an extent Skull Island. Skull Island that made a little more sense was that like there's this massive fucking disaster happening. This living disaster is stomping through the city, making a mess of things, and let's talk about the human drama. It's just not what I was there for. So this movie at least delivered like that. And then lastly, last night before I went to bed, I watched Boy Kills World, and oh my god, check out that trailer. I'll put it. I'll try to remember to put it down there. At my crotch. No, underneath the video. Fucking ridiculous movie. Wasn't what I expected. In a couple different ways. Not exactly the hardest plot to figure out once the movie gets going, at least in part. But it's just this wild, violent, over-the-top action movie with a bunch of comedy in it. Like it's the most successful action comedy I think I've ever seen. As far as that, like, the action's good and the comedy just hit my sensibilities very, very thoroughly. The main character, Bill Skarsgård's character, is deaf and mute, and his internal voice is fucking H. John Benjamin, Sterling Archer. So like because he doesn't remember what his actual voice sounds like, so his internal monologue is always Archer. The voice, not the character. And he's on a quest for vengeance. and it's just absurdly violent in a comedic kind of over the top anime way. Like it's there was a couple moments. When dude gets a heavy thing dropped on his face. I didn't like that. Um, that was a bit much. But you know it's over the top slapsticky, not slapsticky, but like cartoony level of violence for an action movie. Um, it's a little better. Still crooked though. It's like, are my glasses crooked or is it my ears? It's hard to tell. I got one of those faces that, like, when I look straight at the camera, you can't see my ears because, well, I mean, you can see them a little bit. There's a guy on TikTok that, ADHD. Boy Kills World, fucking fantastic movie. I probably, it's not going to be a movie that I'm going to like feel the need to watch again anytime soon, unless I'm watching it with someone. But the jokes are solid, especially about him being a lip reader. There's a point later in the movie where he encounters somebody he can't, like, because they have a big bushy beard, he can't, like, quite read their lips, so everything they say is nonsense. And Bill's character, the boy, is because I forget his name, is all like, shit, that can't be what he said. Dodo buns sound fun, though. Oh, no. Dodo buns are bad. Dodo buns, not buds. Anyway, watch that movie if you're into such things. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Oh, and I also watched the 3 episodes of The Boys that are out, and that's as close to political as we get. When I mentioned that, like, I find it absurd. I saw all over the internet before. Like, the reason I knew the episodes of The Boys were out, the first 3 episodes of season 4, was I saw some right wingers on Twitter bitching about the show going woke and leftist brain rot and all that. Like, the media illiteracy it takes to watch the first 3 seasons of a show that are totally painting you as the villain and not get it. To not get it so badly that this season they completely and totally removed any semblance of subtlety. Like, the subtlety's gone. Not that there was much there to begin with. I mean, for fuck's sake, one of the villains in past seasons was called Stormfront and was a literal Nazi. Not to mention Homelander, like, that's pretty fascist. Anytime you discuss the homeland, the motherland, fatherland, all that stuff, it's very nationalistic and tends to be fascist in nature. The fact that they didn't get it has always been amusing. So it's kind of disheartening, a little bit upsetting that they got it finally. I guess all it took was a fictional on ice show singing about putting the Christ back in Christmas, or the mention of critical soup theory, not like soup, but like superhero. All it took was some literal, like, on the nose, hey, we're talking about you, kind of stuff. And it's kind of upsetting that they realize it now, because it's been frustrating but amusing to see them champion, like, yeah, man, this show gets it. I mean, literally the end of the previous season, dude screams something about fascism at Homelander, and Homelander kills him because he threw a bottle, and the crowd cheers Homelander murdering this guy, and then that's where the show opens, is, Homelander's on trial for that killing. Honestly, my only complaint with it is that the plot is largely about the downfall of society and, rebuilding it as a dictatorship, sort of. They talk about that sort of thing a lot in this season. and in the lead up to this season. Um, and we're living a little too close to that right now. But I enjoyed it, and that's basically been my weekend. Oh, I did do a number of videos using this book, so you can find those on the channel too. Created a character, named the character, made a mini for the character, and then at the end of that second video, I completely and totally misnamed the character. So I'm a genius. Played a little bit of Hellblade 2. Put that on the channel already. Today I'm going to do some burn through some of the horror backlog I have. I was waiting for October, but then it occurred to me that I have so many scary games I want to play that I won't get through them all in October. So why am I holding off? Why am I holding off? Because there's no promise of tomorrow, right? I could have a stroke by the end of today and never get to play those games, and I will have held off for nothing. It's something I've been pondering a lot, the balance between planning for the future and understanding that you're not guaranteed a future. I, like many millennials, will probably not get to retire. I will probably work some form of labor until I drop dead. Whether that's 5 years from now or 50. So I'm trying to find joy where I can, because life is short, and while it's important to be attuned and awake and alert to what's going on in the world, and to fight for justice, and not let people's voice of the voiceless, all that stuff. You gotta do good in the world while you're here, but you also have to enjoy while you're here. That's something I have been pondering a lot, because I'm coming up on 3 years. I'm about a month away from my mental health hospitalization 3 years ago, and how literal life changing that was. And I still gotta remind myself that you gotta find happiness in each day. Even when you're in a good mood. For a couple years now, it's been more than 2 now. I turned that corner where I no longer was upset to wake up in the morning. I wake up every day. I mean, it's not even 7:30 yet, and I'm like, yeah, let's do today. I mean, it's not even 7:30 on a Sunday morning, and I'm just full of energy for the nonsense I'm going to do today. And that's how even work days start that way for me. I wake up ready to go. But you gotta find. I'm rambling. But you gotta find those little joys, those little happinesses. Whether it's the sunrise, your coffee, someone you enjoy talking to, saying hello, the purr of your cat, the tail wag of your dog, whatever. There's all sorts of little joys sprinkled throughout the day. I did this, and I saw it, and for some reason my brain went sparkles. God. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to get to my business. Happy Father's Day, y'all. Fatherhood comes in many forms. You can be an adopted father. You can be a father figure for a child that isn't yours. You obviously can have children. It's been said a lot that it's having children, raising children is one of the noblest things you can do, and I agree to that in part. My story with my children is a little different than most. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you know me personally, you know. But I love my children dearly. I can't wait to see them later today, and I'm gonna kill time in the meantime, having fun. Got those minis to paint, got those video games to play. So enjoy your day, fathers. Children, try not to be too hard on your old man. We're industry secret here, as we're trying to figure it out too. Like we really don't know either. Like every moment of every day is we're just kind of winging it. So um, the same for your mothers too. We all adults don't have our shit together. Anyway, have a good Sunday. Have a good Father's Day, and I'll see you next time we do one of these vlogs.